opting to push out here with the big force. Scans to kill some creep, but also kills Baneland landmines at the same time. So, I don't know, I feel like he got a little bit lucky there, but nonetheless, able to push out a little bit. So, we'll see what happens here. Big push out across the map. So if you're Zerg in this situation, you've got a Terran trying to contain the middle a little bit. What are you trying to do?
I like what Sheth is doing here, just poking with the infestors, getting some fungals, killing some marines where possible. If you can get the marine count low enough, you can simply swarm them with Zerglings and kill everything.
Yeah.
The trick to this position is to not hesitate as Zerg. You choose a time to go, and then you go.
Yeah.
If you do any running forward and running back, Siege Tank Fire just ruins your army. And Chet did a really good job of this, as you can see.
And as I've been kind of going around, it's amazing how much action is going around the map. The push down the middle is being attacked. There's drop going on in the natural Sheth, drop going on in the main of Sheth, which has been cleaned up, except for one medevac. And the Mutalisks have been doing harass in select space, so all around, just crazy. And let's look at the income tab. It looks like Select actually ahead in Harvesters by about 10, so that's never a good place to be in for Zerg.
He did lose a bunch in his natural just now, though, so he is on 4 base, 5 base. His production is pretty big. He's going to be able to get his work account right back up in not very long at all.
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, we see in the production chat we got 7 drones on the way. The Greater Spire actually being started as well, too, so we'll probably see Broodlords here pretty soon then. I like what Select's doing, just stimming a few Marines forward, just trying to see what's going on in the middle a little bit.
Deny creep as well, it's pretty important as Terran.
Yes, yes.
Zerg units get 30% better on creep.
Yeah. Especially a unit like the Speedling or anything that needs to surround to attack.
Or even the Infestor needs to get into cast range.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, it can make all the difference if the investor, you know, can get in, get the spell, get out of there without dying. You know, if you have that infestor retention, that's really important. Looks like Select is starting another command center, and let's look at his upgrades. We've got 2-1 on his bio and 1-0 on his mech.
As compared to the 2-1 on the Zerg ground units, and can't find a Mutalisk. And 1-0 on the air units of Jeff.
So from that standpoint, it's actually quite similar.
Yeah, and I favor, oh, he does have double evolution chamber. Okay, so he has double evolution chamber, but he's not upgrading the, despite having the gas and minerals for it, he's not upgrading his armor level 2. So that's probably a slip up by Jeff, actually.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. And it looks like we have the adrenaline glands coming out.
Might just be saving for Broodlords, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know, I do think he is a little bit, just because once he gets the Broodlords out, that hopefully will help him like be able to break the siege tanks if they're trying to siege up. So I think that would be a good move, but we'll have to see. It looks like Select trying to push in here to I guess would be the 5th base of Sheth. But Sheth doing a good job coming in, but just too many siege tanks and marines for right now. We'll have to see though. If he can get a good surround or something, he might be able to pull it off. But he's got vision of with the watchtower, which makes siege tanks so amazing.
Not entirely comfortable with the infestor micro I'm seeing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, definitely losing a lot of infestors to siege tanks, taking a lot of extra hits, not pulling them back when he should be. But he is getting some decent fungals off on some marines, and he's coming with the Mutalisk. But he's got to watch out, there's a lot of marines coming in. A lot of back.
Losing more infestors.
Yeah, it's just not a good situation to be in. So you can see now, too, the supply of Select is actually getting quite a bit higher than Sheth, which is not a good place to be in. But he is able to deflect the attacks for now, and the Broodlords are out, so we'll see if he can clean up this push a little bit.
I think some of the early gas should have been in infestors rather than Mutalisk. I like Mutalist to control drop because Terrans are very drop happy.
And as you can see, this is actually a top drop going down in the third of Sheth. Just like a Marine killing a bunch of drones. But yeah, go ahead.
So getting 6 or 5 Mutalists to control the drops is really powerful. But I like the rest of the gas going to Infestors because it makes your Broodlord Infestor army that much stronger.
Yeah, yes. No,
because right now the Broodlord count has not yet to get high enough to be really truly dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, not at all, really. And you can see, like, at this point, all the Infestors are dead, too. So he's making 5 of them. But, yeah, I think you're right. If he did get some more Infestors earlier and held on to him, he would have been able to get a faster Broodlord Infestor army and also a more potent one, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like that drop in the third was cleaned up, finally. But... let's see, the workers were killed. Looks like Select has killed 30, where Sheth's only killed 2. So, yeah, that's definitely evident from all the dropping that's been going on. You know, and the Mutalists haven't really been able to harass too much, so just due to the good push out from Select.
I feel like he needs to be, like you said, more aggressive with the Mutalist. Since he invested so much in them and he hasn't really seen a return on his investment.
Yeah.
If you look at Select's bases, well, aside from the idle SCVs, he's got only 2 turrets in one turret in this his natural, 0 but 2 making in his 4th down there. I think the Mutalist would do a lot of damage since there's no real Marine army right by it to deny the drop.
Yeah,
I mean, deny the Mutalist.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I mean, he did a little bit in the beginning, but I don't feel like he got any any SCVs. And it looks like another drop from Select, killing off some drones here. We'll see if he can lift off before. But good Fungal and Baneling able to clean that up, except for 2 Marines. But yeah, decent job fending that off. But you know, I mean, at this point, it's like losing any bit of drones is so hard because he has to remake those, and that's larva he's not spending on his army. And at this point, you know, with as scary as Select's army has been, Sheth really needs to be making more army units.
Yeah. I think the Broodlord count never really peaked high enough to be effective against the Terran army.
Yeah. And I mean, he's been trying, but he hasn't really been able to sit back and get it up. I mean, Select's done a really good job of pushing in and forcing the engagement, and you know, I think he has been doing a good job at keeping the Broodlord count as well as the Infestor count down.
Yeah, no, he has been doing a remarkable job of that. Every time you get 2 or 3 Broodlords, you see Marines stemming forward to take them out.
Yeah. And we do see Vikings coming in here now to try to pick some off, but we do have some decent Fungals as well as some Corruptors taking them out a little bit, but not before taking out quite a few of the Broodlords. And this engagement going on just not too great from Sheth, just kind of coming in from one angle, able to kill off a lot of those siege tanks, but there is still a lot of Marines left and the Vikings, so able to kill off the Broodlords and most of the Infestors.
Here we go. Yeah, and it's pretty important to kill the siege tanks as Zerg. It's the Marines tend to come back fairly quickly, however the siege tanks take a long time to build, so yeah. That's pretty important, but without the Infestor count there to basically keep the Marines at bay, I feel like it's still a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, I mean, the Marine's definitely the throwaway unit of the 2 in the Marine tank composition, but the thing is Marines are still pretty good by themselves. I mean, yeah, if you don't have Infestors and Banelings to kill them off pretty fast, I mean, they just do so much damage so quick, so, you know, pretty ridiculous. And this drop in the upper right, getting fungled immediately. Sheth's doing a pretty good job of taking care of the drops for now, but some good pressure from Select. Actually mixing some Thors into his composition.
Yeah, he's got 2 out right now.
So how do you think that will do against the composition of Sheth?
Thors are a very, very good unit. They're like a big stalker. They have a lot of utility. I can't find the infestation pit. He does not have neuroparasite, so they're really powerful against the Zerg army. Neuroparasite is an excellent counter to the Thor, because then you just get to use them.
Yeah.
Also, they're not bad to use on siege tanks, to be honest. But so I think the transition into Thors is a very good choice by Select, because his mobile army that army that isn't siege tanks comprises solely of Marines, and Marines are so weak to fungal growth that having the Thors there to kind of not die to the fungals and still deal damage will benefit him greatly.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Terrans are finding in all matchups, Thors can actually be pretty good. I mean, they're expensive, take a while to build, but I don't know. I mean, at least like in TVT, there's been some stuff recently with Thors. You see them a little bit here too, so I don't know. I mean, they're good when you got a lot of flying units to worry about, but also you need a little bit of beef in your army, because they can definitely just tank so many shots. Really nice.
The danger with Thors is going Thors too early. You need to have a very solid economy before you attempt to.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely think that's true, because they take a while to build, take a lot out of your economy, and Thors by themselves, aren't the best, but if you do have some units around them, they work out pretty well.
For sure.
So it looks like Sheth is pretty much taken his side of the map. He is taking, let's see, that'd be a 6 base now. How do you feel about this? It's 6 base versus 4 base. I'll check how many are mining here. It looks like actually Select coming in denying that hatchery, so good timing by him.
Well, as Zerg, it's important to always continue expanding. Your production capabilities late game or all game are dependent on the number of hatcheries you have. So you can build what's called a macro hatch, which is just a hatch that isn't at a mineral field, to increase your production. But you might as well have it at a base, is always my theory.
Yeah.
Because then you can mine from it later.
Yeah.
I think the thing that might be holding Sheth back the most, other than the queen at his base, is if you look at all his queens, they all have nearly full energy, which means he's been missing a lot of injects.
Yeah, definitely, and that really is a big problem. It actually cuts production from Zerg quite a bit, so yeah, that's never a good thing when you're missing your